Can I sit here? A black girl, 8th grade. Lunch tray in hand. Megan Thornton doesn't even look up. God, no. We don't mix with your kind here. Laughter. Sharp. Cruel. Her mama dragged in some broke nobody off the street. Now she calls him daddy. That's not a father. That's a stray dog her mom felt sorry for. Go back where you belong, Harper. Maybe the dumpster out back. You and your fake family would fit right in. Phones rise. Recording. Live streaming. Pat, not a real dad. The whole cafeteria watches a black girl stand alone in a sea of white faces. Teachers look away. No one moves. Harper's hands shake. Her tray rattles. But not one of them, not Megan, not her rich daddy on the school board, knows what her stepfather carries beneath his jacket. In 3 months, on this same floor, every one of them will beg to disappear. If you've ever been looked down on for who you are, stay. Crestwood, Georgia sits 20 miles outside Atlanta. It's the kind of town where lawns stay green year-round and American flags hang from every porch. The houses have 2-car garages and freshly painted shutters. The schools have new football fields and updated science labs. The parents have strong opinions about property values and who belongs in the neighborhood. Harper Underwood is 13 years old. She's in 8th grade at Crestwood Middle School. She likes books more than people, not because she's antisocial, but because books don't ask questions she doesn't want to answer. Books don't look at her like she's different. Books don't whisper when she walks past. Every morning, she sits in the cafeteria before first bell. She opens whatever novel she's reading that week. She pretends not to notice that no one sits with her. She pretends the empty chairs around her are a choice. Harper lives with her mother Denise and her stepfather Will. Their house is the blue one on Maple Street, the one with the vegetable garden in the backyard. Denise works night shifts as a nurse at Grady Memorial Hospital. She leaves for work when Harper goes to bed. She comes home when Harper leaves for school. They communicate through Post-it notes on the refrigerator and quick hugs in the hallway and text messages that say, "Love you, be safe." Will Crawford is 44 years old. He works as a security consultant, which means he spends most days on conference calls in his home office and most evenings cooking dinner. He makes a mean pot roast. His chili has won 2 neighborhood competitions. He's not Harper's biological father. He married Denise 3 years ago. Harper was 10. Will is a quiet man. He doesn't talk much about himself. He doesn't talk much at all. But every morning, without fail, he wakes up before dawn to make Harper breakfast before she catches the bus. Bacon and eggs on weekdays, pancakes on Saturdays, French toast on Sundays when he's feeling fancy. There's something else about Will. He always wears a jacket, even in Georgia heat. Even when the temperature hits 95 and everyone else is in short sleeves and complaining about the humidity. Harper noticed this years ago. She asked once, in that direct way children ask things. Will just shrugged and said he runs cold. Late at night, when Harper can't sleep, she sometimes walks to the kitchen for water. The floorboards creak in the hallway. The refrigerator hums in the darkness. Once, she saw Will sitting at his desk in the living room, the lamp casting yellow light across his face. He was holding a small wooden box, just holding it, not opening it, just looking at it like it weighed more than it should. Harper never asked about the box. Some questions feel too heavy. At Crestwood Middle School, everyone knows Gerald Thornton. He's on the school board. He's the chairman of the Thornton Family Foundation. He's the man who funded the new science wing and the renovated gymnasium. When Gerald Thornton speaks at PTA meetings, the principal nods along like a student taking notes. When Gerald Thornton makes a suggestion, it becomes policy within a week. Gerald has a daughter named Megan. Megan is also 13. She sits at the center table in the cafeteria, the one near the windows where the light is best for selfies. She has blonde hair, a loud laugh, and a circle of friends who agree with everything she says. She's never received a grade lower than an A-. She's never been told no. Harper has never spoken to Megan Thornton. She has no reason to. They exist in different orbits, different worlds, really, that happen to share the same hallways. But in a town like Crestwood, orbits can collide. Worlds can crash into each other without warning. Harper doesn't tell anyone at school that Will isn't her biological father. It's not a secret. It's just not relevant. Family, to Harper, isn't about blood or DNA or whose name is on a birth certificate. It's about who shows up. And Will shows up every single day. She doesn't know yet that some people in Crestwood have a different definition of family. She doesn't know that definition will be used against her like a weapon. She doesn't know that in 2 weeks, she'll wish she had never mentioned Will Crawford at all. But that's the thing about ordinary mornings. They don't warn you when they're about to end. It starts on a Tuesday. Cafeteria, lunch period. The smell of reheated pizza and chocolate milk hangs in the air. Harper sits alone at her usual table by the far wall. A paperback is open in front of her. Some fantasy novel about a girl who discovers she has magic powers. The noise of the room hums around her like static. Trays clattering, voices overlapping. Someone's phone playing music too loud until a teacher tells them to turn it off. Megan Thornton walks past. She's carrying a salad and a bottle of sparkling water. Her friends trail behind her like ducklings following their mother. She stops at Harper's table. Her shadow falls across the book. "Hey," Megan says. Her voice is friendly. Too friendly. The kind of friendly that makes Harper's shoulders tense. "I've been meaning to ask you something." Harper looks up. She doesn't close her book. She keeps one finger on the page, holding her place. "What?" "That man who drops you off sometimes. The one with the old truck. The blue one with the dent in the fender." Megan tilts her head, all innocence. "Who is he?" Harper feels her shoulders tighten further. She keeps her voice flat, neutral, giving nothing away. "That's my stepdad." Megan's eyebrows lift. She turns to her friends. A smile spreads across her face, slow and satisfied, like a cat who's found a mouse. "See?" Megan says, loud enough for the nearby tables to hear. "I told you guys, not even a real dad, just someone her mom picked up." Laughter. Sharp and sudden. 5 or 6 voices joining in like a chorus. Harper's face goes hot. She stares at her book. The words blur into meaningless shapes. "My dad says people like them don't really belong in Crestwood anyway," Megan adds. She's still smiling. She's not whispering. She wants people to hear. She wants everyone to hear. More laughter. A boy at the next table snickers into his sandwich. A girl covers her mouth like she's trying to be polite about finding it funny. Harper says nothing. Her jaw is tight. Her hands are trembling slightly beneath the table. She learned a long time ago that words don't help, that tears don't change anything, that the best thing you can do when people want a reaction is to give them nothing at all. Megan waits. She wants a response. She wants tears or anger or some kind of entertainment. When Harper doesn't give her any, she shrugs like she's bored. "Whatever. Enjoy your book." She walks away. She walks. Her friends follow. The laughter fades into the general noise of the cafeteria. Harper doesn't move for a long time. Her hands are shaking. She presses them flat against the table until the trembling stops. At the next table, a boy named Tyler watched the whole thing. He's in Harper's English class. He has brown hair and a quiet face, and glasses that slip down his nose when he reads. He saw everything. He heard everything. He doesn't say anything either. He just looks away. Harper gets through the rest of the day. She takes notes in class. She answers questions when called on. She walks the hallways with her head down and her book clutched against her chest. She waits for the bus alone, watching the cars pull away from the pickup lane. When Will picks her up that afternoon, Denise had an early shift. Harper climbs into the truck and buckles her seatbelt without a word. "How was school?" Will asks. His voice is warm, familiar. "Fine." Will glances at her. He's good at reading silence. He's had practice, years of it. You sure? Yeah. He doesn't push. That's one of the things Harper loves about him. He gives her space. He trusts her to come to him when she's ready. She's not ready. That night, Harper lies in bed and replays the cafeteria scene. Megan's smile, the laughter, the words echoing in her head like a song she can't stop hearing. Not even a real dad. People like them. She thinks about Will in the kitchen, making her breakfast. Will driving her to school when she missed the bus. Will sitting up with her when she had the flu last winter, bringing her soup and bad jokes until she fell asleep. He's more of a father than anyone she's ever known. But Megan Thornton doesn't care about that. Megan Thornton only cares about what she can use. Harper closes her eyes. She tells herself it was just one comment. Just one bad day. It won't happen again. She's wrong. This is only day one. The next week is worse. Megan doesn't let it go. Every day she finds Harper. In the hallways, in the cafeteria, outside the bathroom. Every day she has something new to say. Is your fake dad picking you up today? Does he even have a real job, or does he just live off your mom? I heard step-parents don't actually love you. They just pretend because they have to. Must be sad. The comments are always loud enough for others to hear, always delivered with that same sweet smile, like she's just making friendly conversation. Always followed by laughter from the 5 or 6 students who orbit around her like satellites. Harper stops eating in the cafeteria. She takes her lunch to the library instead. She sits in the back corner behind the biography section where no one ever goes. She eats her sandwich in silence, surrounded by books about dead presidents. It doesn't help. The comments follow her into the hallways, into class, whispered just loud enough for her to hear. Into the group chat for her English project where someone posts a meme about fake families and tags her. 32 people see it before she mutes the notification. Denise notices something is wrong. Harper is quieter than usual. She's not eating much at dinner, just pushing food around her plate. She's going to bed early and waking up tired with dark circles under her eyes. What's going on? Denise asks one evening. They're standing in the kitchen. The dinner dishes are in the sink. Will is in his office on a call. Harper shrugs. Nothing. Harper. The word hangs in the air. Denise has that tone, the one that says she's not going to let this go. The mom tone. Harper tells her, not everything, just enough. The comments, Megan, the laughter that follows her everywhere. Denise's jaw tightens. Her hands curl into fists at her sides. That's not okay. Mom, just leave it. It'll make things worse. No, I'm going to talk to the school. Mom, this is not up for discussion. The next morning, Denise sends an email to Principal Howard Green. She outlines the situation carefully, professionally. She uses words like harassment and hostile environment and repeated incidents. She asks for a meeting. The principal responds within hours. He's very sorry to hear about this. He takes these matters extremely seriously. He'll look into it personally. He thanks her for bringing it to his attention. 2 days later, Principal Green calls Denise. I spoke with the students involved, he says. His voice is smooth, practiced, the voice of a man who's had this conversation many times before. I've reminded them about our anti-bullying policy. I'm confident this won't be an issue going forward. What about consequences? Denise asks. What happens to the kids who did this? We believe in restorative approaches here at Crestwood. Punishment can sometimes escalate tensions. The best thing for everyone, especially Harper, is to move forward constructively. Denise hangs up. She doesn't feel reassured. She's right not to. Because while Principal Green was on the phone with Denise, another conversation was happening. One she didn't know about. Gerald Thornton called the principal's direct line that same afternoon. The call lasted 4 minutes. No one knows exactly what was said, but later that day, Principal Green sent an email to his vice principal. The subject line read, Parent Concern, Underwood. The body of the email contained one sentence. Handle quietly. Don't escalate the Thornton situation. Nothing changes. The comments continue. The laughter continues. And now it's spreading beyond the cafeteria, beyond the school walls. Someone creates an Instagram account called Crestwood Confessions. It's supposed to be anonymous gossip, fun and harmless. Within a week, there are posts about Harper, screenshots of the group chat, comments like fake family goals and imagine having a stepdad and thinking he's your real dad and laughing emojis, so many laughing emojis. Harper sees the posts. She lies in bed at night scrolling through them, reading every comment, every reply. She doesn't know why she does this to herself. Maybe she thinks if she reads enough, it will stop hurting. It doesn't stop hurting. Will notices that Harper is different, quieter, more closed off. She used to talk to him about her books, about her classes, about the weird things her teachers said. Now she barely speaks at dinner. One evening he asks if everything is okay at school. "It's fine," Harper says. She doesn't look up from her plate. Will studies her face. He knows she's lying. He also knows that pushing won't help. He learned that the hard way, years ago, in places far from Georgia. "If you ever want to talk," he says, "I'm here, day or night. No judgment." Harper nods. She goes to her room. She closes the door. She doesn't know that her stepfather is already carrying a weight she can't imagine. She doesn't know that every time someone calls him not a real dad, it lands on top of something much heavier, something buried deep. But she's about to find out. Because Gerald Thornton has already made his next move. He called Principal Green again. He suggested that the Underwood family might be overreacting. He mentioned casually that he'd hate for this kind of drama to affect the school's excellent reputation. He mentioned even more casually that the Thornton Foundation's next grant cycle is coming up. $2 million for the district. A lot of money to lose over one complaint. Principal Green understood perfectly. And in his office, behind closed doors, he decided that the easiest path forward was to make the problem disappear. Not the bullying, the complaint. The system was supposed to protect Harper. Instead, it protected the people writing the checks. But Gerald Thornton made one mistake. He let his daughter keep going. He let her feel invincible. He let her believe that no one would ever hold her accountable. And the next time Megan Thornton decided to humiliate Harper's family, she did it on camera. Friday afternoon, 3:45. The dismissal bell rang 10 minutes ago. Harper walks out the front entrance of Crestwood Middle School. The October sun is warm on her face. The air smells like cut grass and exhaust from the buses idling at the curb. She's looking for her mother's car. Instead, she sees Will's truck. He's parked near the flagpole, leaning against the driver's side door. He's wearing his usual jacket despite the 80-degree heat. His arms are crossed. He looks out of place among the minivans and SUVs with their "My child is an honors student" bumper stickers. Denise must have had to leave early for work. Harper starts walking toward him. She doesn't see Megan until it's too late. Megan is standing near the bike rack with 4 of her friends. They're watching Will, whispering, smiling. One of them is already holding up a phone. "Oh my God," Megan says, loud enough to carry across the pickup lane. "Look, you guys, it's Harper's fake dad." Harper freezes. Her backpack suddenly feels like it weighs 100 pounds. Megan keeps talking, her voice bright and performative, loud enough for everyone within 50 feet to hear. "Bet he doesn't even have a real job. Probably just lives off her mom. How embarrassing." Her friends laugh. The phone is recording. The red light is blinking. Megan knows it. She's playing to the camera. "Hey, Harper," Megan calls out. "Is he going to pretend to be your dad at parent-teacher night too? That's going to be so awkward." More laughter. Harper feels her face burning. She wants to disappear. She wants the ground to open up and swallow her whole. Will sees what's happening. His expression doesn't change, not a flicker. He straightens up from the truck, opens the passenger door, and waits. "Let's go home, kiddo," he says. His voice is calm, steady, like nothing in the world is wrong. Harper walks to the truck. She doesn't look at Megan. She doesn't look at the phone. She climbs in and shuts the door harder than she meant to. Will gets in the driver's seat. He starts the engine. He pulls out of the parking lot without a word. Harper stares out the window. Her vision is blurry. She's not going to cry. She's not going to give them that satisfaction. She bites the inside of her cheek until she tastes copper. Will doesn't ask what happened. He doesn't need to. He just rests one hand on the steering wheel and puts the other on Harper's shoulder. He leaves it there, warm and solid, until they get home. That night, Megan posts the video, first on Instagram, then on TikTok. She adds a hashtag #NoToRealDad. She adds laughing emojis. She adds a caption: "When your classmate thinks a random guy is her father." Within 24 hours, the video has been shared 200 times. Students from Crestwood, students from other schools in the district, strangers who think it's funny. The comments pile up like snow in a blizzard. "Imagine being this girl Ilmao." "Fake family vibes for far." "Why is she crying? It's just a joke. Calm down." "This is so sad but also hilarious, Ingel." Harper sees all of it. She lies in bed, scrolling through her phone, reading every word. She reads until her eyes burn and her chest aches and she can barely breathe. Will sees the video too. Denise shows it to him after Harper goes to bed. His face is unreadable as he watches. Stone. "Those kids," Denise says. Her voice is shaking with anger. "I'm going to—" "Don't," Will says quietly. "It'll make it worse for Harper. We can't just do nothing." Will is silent for a long moment. When he speaks, his voice is very soft, almost a whisper. "We won't." He doesn't explain what he means. He doesn't know yet himself. But somewhere in Crestwood, someone else is watching that video too. Someone who sees something beyond a cruel joke. Someone who asks questions for a living. Rachel Morrison is 34 years old. She's been a reporter at WGCA, the local news affiliate, for 8 years. She covers education, local government, occasionally a human interest piece that makes viewers cry. She's won 2 regional awards for investigative journalism. She's good at her job. More importantly, she's good at noticing when something doesn't add up. The video of Will Crawford bothers her. Not just the cruelty of it. She's seen plenty of cruel videos in her years covering schools. What bothers her is the context. The way the girl filming seems so confident, so untouchable. The way the other kids laugh like they've done this before and know nothing will happen. The way the school's name is clearly visible in the background on a banner. Rachel does what she always does when something doesn't sit right. She starts digging. Her first call is to Denise Crawford. She finds the number through public records. Not hard for someone who knows where to look. She leaves a voicemail explaining who she is and what she's looking into. Denise calls back that evening. Her voice is wary, guarded. "I'm not sure talking to the press is a good idea," Denise says. "The last thing Harper needs is more attention." "I understand completely," Rachel says. "But I've seen the video. And I've heard rumors that this isn't the first time something like this has happened at Crestwood. I think there might be a bigger story here." Silence on the line. Rachel can hear Denise breathing. "What kind of rumors?" Denise finally asks. "That's what I'm trying to find out. I think there might be more to this story than just some kids being mean. I think there might be a pattern." 2 days later, Denise agrees to meet. They sit in a coffee shop in a strip mall outside town, away from Crestwood eyes. Denise orders tea. Rachel orders black coffee. The shop is nearly empty at 2 in the afternoon. Denise tells Rachel everything. The cafeteria comments, the emails to the principal, the phone call where he promised to handle it, the weeks of nothing changing while the harassment got worse. "Do you have copies of those emails?" Rachel asks. Denise does. She forwards them that night from her phone. Rachel reads Principal Green's response at her desk, the blue light of the screen reflecting off her glasses. It's boilerplate. Concern and promises and no action. But what interests her is what she doesn't see. Any record of discipline for the students involved, any follow-up, any accountability. She files a public records request with the school district. She's looking for two things: disciplinary actions related to the Underwood complaint and financial records showing donations to Crestwood schools. The disciplinary records come back first. There are none. Officially, no incident was ever reported. No investigation was ever opened. On paper, nothing happened. The financial records take longer. When they arrive 3 days later, Rachel spends an entire evening going through them at her kitchen table, highlighter in hand, coffee going cold beside her. What she finds makes her sit back in her chair. The Thornton Family Foundation has donated $2.1 million to Crestwood Independent School District over the past 5 years. Gerald Thornton is listed as the foundation's chairman. The money has funded new facilities, equipment, programs, teacher bonuses. It's touched every corner of the district. $2.1 million. That's a lot of influence to protect. That's a lot of silence to buy. Rachel keeps digging. She pulls up the school board's meeting minutes from the public website. Most are routine. Budget approvals, policy updates, personnel matters discussed in closed session. But one set of minutes catches her eye. March 14th, 2024. Executive session. Item 7.2, risk mitigation. The description is vague. Discussion on minimizing PR exposure from parent complaint. March 14th. That's 2 weeks after Denise first emailed Principal Green. 2 weeks after she used the word harassment. Rachel doesn't have access to what was said in that closed session. Executive sessions are private by law. But she knows what risk mitigation usually means in bureaucratic language. It means protecting the institution. It means making problems go away quietly. It means choosing the path of least resistance. She needs more sources, more voices. She starts calling current and former teachers at Crestwood. Most won't talk. Some hang up as soon as she says she's a reporter. One agrees to meet off the record, in a park on the other side of the county. Her name is Linda Pearson. She taught English at Crestwood Middle School for 12 years. Her contract wasn't renewed last spring. No explanation. Just a form letter. "Why do you think they let you go?" Rachel asks. They're sitting on a bench near a playground. Kids are shouting in the distance. Linda stirs her iced coffee. She looks tired, the kind of tired that sleep doesn't fix. "I reported a student for bullying," she says. "Multiple times. I documented everything. Dates, witnesses. I followed the procedures exactly like we're supposed to." "What happened?" "Nothing. The reports went to the principal's office and disappeared. When I pushed, I was told to focus on teaching, not discipline. When I pushed harder, I got a warning about maintaining professional boundaries." "Who was the student?" Linda hesitates. She looks at the playground. Then she says the name. "Megan Thornton." Rachel feels the pieces clicking into place, the picture getting clearer. "And your contract?" she asks. "Not renewed, no explanation. Just a form letter thanking me for my service and wishing me well in my future endeavors." Linda leans forward. Her voice drops to barely above a whisper. "I couldn't help that family then. But maybe someone can now. Maybe you can." Rachel spends the next week building her case. She interviews 3 former Crestwood students who say Megan Thornton bullied them. All 3 describe the same pattern. Reports filed, nothing done. Eventually, they transferred schools. All 3 asked to remain anonymous. She reviews the Thornton Foundation's tax filings. She maps the donations against the timeline of complaints. She documents the school board's closed-door meetings. The picture that emerges is damning. Gerald Thornton has been using his money and influence to protect his daughter for years. The school has been complicit because they can't afford to lose his funding. They've built a system where wealth buys immunity. Rachel has enough for a story, but she wants one more piece, the most important piece. She wants to know who Will Crawford really is. She runs his name through public databases, military records, court records, employment history, background checks. What she finds stops her cold. Her hand freezes on the mouse. William Crawford, Staff Sergeant, United States Army, deployed to Afghanistan, 2011-2012. And then, a single line that changes everything. Medal of Honor recipient. Rachel stares at the screen. She reads it again, and again. The man those kids mocked. The man they called not a real dad. The man they said doesn't have a real job. The man they laughed at in a parking lot while recording him on their phones. He's one of fewer than 4,000 people in American history to receive the nation's highest military honor. He's a certified hero. The real deal. Rachel picks up her phone. Her hands are trembling slightly. She has calls to make. The letter arrives at WGCA's office 3 days later. It's printed on expensive paper. The letterhead reads, Thornton and Associates. Rachel reads it in her cubicle. Her coffee goes cold beside her. The letter accuses Rachel of reckless disregard for the truth. It threatens legal action for defamation if WGCA broadcasts false and malicious claims about Gerald Thornton or his family. It demands that all materials related to the story be preserved for potential litigation. It's not a response. It's a warning shot. Rachel shows the letter to her news director. He reads it twice. Is your sourcing solid? He asks. Rock solid. I have documents, I have witnesses, I have financial records. Then we keep going. Rachel keeps going. But Gerald Thornton isn't finished. The next attack doesn't come at the news station. It comes at Will Crawford. Will works as a security consultant for a company called Secure Point, Inc. He's been with them for 3 years. Steady work, good pay, enough to help cover the mortgage while Denise pays down her nursing school loans. 3 days after Rachel's records request becomes public, Will receives an email. The subject line is neutral. Contract review. Crawford, W. The body is brief. After careful consideration, Secure Point Inc. has decided not to renew your consulting contract. Your final payment will be processed by end of month. We wish you well in your future endeavors. No reason given, no warning, no opportunity to respond. Will stares at the email for a long time. He doesn't know it yet, but Gerald Thornton is a minority shareholder in Secure Point's parent company. He made one phone call. The call lasted 6 minutes. That's all it took. When Denise comes home from her shift, Will tells her. They sit at the kitchen table. The house is quiet. Harper is asleep. What are we going to do? Denise whispers. I'll find something else. Will, I'll find something else. His voice is steady, but Denise can see the tension in his shoulders, the way he's holding himself still, like he's afraid of what might happen if he moves. This is because of us, she says. Because we spoke to that reporter. Probably. Maybe we should stop. Tell her we're done. Will is quiet for a moment. When he speaks, his voice is very soft. If we stop now, they win. And they'll keep doing this to someone else. Denise reaches across the table. She takes his hand. I'm scared, she says. Me too. The next day, Principal Green calls Harper into his office. She sits in the chair across from his desk, her backpack clutched on her lap. Harper, he says, I've been hearing concerns from some parents. They say you've been spreading rumors about other students, making accusations. Harper blinks. What? I'm not saying it's true, Green interrupts. I'm just letting you know that this kind of behavior can be very disruptive. It might be best for everyone if you focused on your schoolwork and let the adults handle adult matters. Harper doesn't know what to say. She feels like she's fallen into a trap she didn't see coming. Do you understand? Green asks. Yes, Harper whispers. Good. You can go. Harper walks out of the office. Her hands are shaking. That evening, she hears her parents talking in the kitchen. She stands in the hallway just out of sight and listens. Will lost his job. The principal warned her. The lawyers are threatening. All because of her. All because she told her mom about the cafeteria. She goes to her room. She closes the door. She lies on her bed and stares at the ceiling. This is her fault. All of it. That night, Harper tells her mother she wants to transfer schools. Please, she says, I can't do this anymore. Denise holds her daughter. She doesn't have an answer. A statement from Gerald Thornton's attorney. Mr. Thornton categorically denies all allegations of improper influence. Any suggestion that he has used his position to affect school policy or employment decisions is false and defamatory. Mr. Thornton reserves the right to pursue all legal remedies to protect his family's reputation. The statement says nothing about Megan, nothing about the video, nothing about the years of complaints that disappeared into filing cabinets. But Gerald Thornton didn't just want to win this fight. He wanted to make sure the Crawford family never tried again. He's about to learn that some people don't scare easily, especially people who've already been through fire. Harper lies awake at 2 a.m. The house is silent. Her mother went to work hours ago. The only light comes from the street lamp outside her window, casting pale stripes across the ceiling. She can't stop thinking about the principal's office. The way he looked at her. The way he made her feel like she was the problem. She can't stop thinking about her stepfather losing his job. The tight look on his face when he told them, the way he said, I'll find something else, like he was trying to convince himself. This is all her fault. If she had just kept her mouth shut. If she had just ignored Megan. If she had just been normal, invisible, nobody's target. She gets out of bed. She needs water. She needs to move. The hallway is dark. She walks toward the kitchen, her bare feet silent on the hardwood. She stops. Through the back window, she can see the porch. The light is on, and Will is sitting there. He's in the old wooden chair, the one that creaks when you lean back. He's not moving. He's just sitting, looking at something in his hands. Harper moves closer to the glass. It's the wooden box. The small one from his desk. The one she's seen him hold before but never open. Tonight, it's open. She can't see what's inside from here, but she can see Will's face. The lamp casts shadows across his features. He looks older than she's ever seen him, tired in a way that sleep won't fix. He lifts something out of the box, holds it up. The light catches it. Metal. A ribbon. Blue, she thinks, though it's hard to tell in the dim light. Harper doesn't know what she's looking at, but she knows it matters. She knows by the way Will holds it, carefully, like it might break, reverently, like it's sacred. She remembers what her mother told her once, years ago, that Will was in the army, that he was in Afghanistan, that he saw things there, did things there, that changed him. He doesn't talk about it, Denise had said. Maybe someday he will. But don't push him. Harper never pushed. She never asked. Now, watching him through the glass, she wonders what he carries, what weight he bears every day that she's never seen, what silence lives inside him alongside the nightmares he never mentions. He lost his job because of her. He's been humiliated because of her. And he's never once complained, never once made her feel like a burden. She thinks about the video, Megan's voice, not even a real dad. Looking at Will now, Harper understands something she didn't before. He's more real than anyone she's ever known, more real than the people who laugh at him, more real than the principal who smiles and does nothing, more real than Gerald Thornton and all his money. She doesn't know yet what's in that box. She doesn't know the story behind that medal. But she knows one thing. Will Crawford deserves better than this. She goes back to bed. She pulls the covers up. She stares at the ceiling until the first gray light of dawn creeps through the window. Tomorrow, she tells herself. Tomorrow she'll be strong enough to fight again. She doesn't know that tomorrow, the fight will find them first. The phone rings at 7 in the morning. Will is making coffee. Denise just got home from her shift. Harper is getting ready for school. Will picks up. Hello? Will Crawford? The voice is male, gruff, familiar somehow. Speaking. This is Earl Patterson, VFW Post 1142. We served together in '09. You probably don't remember me. Will goes still. He remembers. I remember, he says quietly. I saw the video, Earl says. The one those kids posted. I know who you are, brother. I know what you did. And I'm not going to stand by while some punk teenagers drag your name through the mud. Will doesn't know what to say. He spent so long not talking about Afghanistan, not talking about any of it. What are you thinking? Will asks. I've been making some calls. There are people who want to help, people who understand what that medal means. Will glances toward the kitchen where Denise is watching him with tired eyes. I don't want to make things worse for my family, Will says. I know, but sometimes the only way out is through. Let me make some introductions. You don't have to do anything you're not comfortable with. Will is silent for a long moment. Then, okay. Earl's first call is to Rachel Morrison. He tells her things that aren't in any public database. Stories from Afghanistan. The kind of man Will Crawford is. Rachel listens. She takes notes. I'm running this story with or without your help, she says. But if you want to be part of it, I'd be honored. Earl makes more calls. Word spreads through the veteran community. By evening, VFW Post 1142 has posted a statement on their Facebook page. Sergeant William Crawford is a Medal of Honor recipient. He risked his life to save 7 American soldiers in Afghanistan. He is a hero. We stand with him and his family. The post is shared, then shared again. Within 48 hours, it has reached veteran groups across Georgia, then across the South. At the same time, Rachel's inbox fills with new messages. Former Crestwood students, teachers, parents who saw complaints go nowhere. 3 students come forward. They tell Rachel their stories. Megan Thornton bullied them. They reported it. Nothing happened. They transferred to other schools. Pattern of behavior. That's what Rachel calls it in her notes. The tide is turning. Earl calls Will again. The post is picking up attention. Some folks are asking if there's anything more they can do. Will thinks. What did you have in mind? Veterans Day is coming up, November 11th. What if we ask the school to honor you at their assembly? Put you front and center. Let those kids see who they've been laughing at. Will is quiet for a long time. Let me talk to my family, he says. That night, he tells Denise and Harper about the plan. Harper looks at him with wide eyes. You'd do that? Go up in front of everyone? Will meets her gaze. If it helps you, I'd do anything. November 10th, the night before Veterans Day. Rachel Morrison sits in the WGCA studio. The cameras are rolling. This is her moment. Good evening, she says. Tonight we bring you an investigation into bullying, power, and silence at one of Atlanta's most prestigious school districts. The segment runs 7 minutes. It's the longest local news package WGCA has aired all year. Rachel lays out everything. The video of Megan Thornton mocking Will Crawford, the screenshots from social media, the emails between Denise Crawford and Principal Green, the internal memo, "Don't escalate the Thornton situation," the $2.1 million in donations from the Thornton Family Foundation, the closed-door board meeting discussing risk mitigation, the testimony of Linda Pearson, the teacher whose contract wasn't renewed, the 3 former students who came forward with their own stories, and then the final piece. Rachel looks directly into the camera. Her voice is steady. The man in that video, the man those students called not a real dad, the man they said doesn't have a real job, is Staff Sergeant William Crawford, United States Army. She pauses. On August 14th, 2012, in Kandahar Province, Afghanistan, Sergeant Crawford's convoy was ambushed by enemy forces. Under sustained gunfire, he crawled 40 meters to reach 2 wounded soldiers and drag them to safety. When a second vehicle was hit, he returned to the kill zone and rescued 5 more. He was wounded 3 times. He refused evacuation until every member of his unit was accounted for. Rachel holds up a document. For his actions that day, Sergeant Crawford received the Medal of Honor, the highest military decoration awarded by the United States government. The medal was presented by the President of the United States. She sets the paper down. The girl in that video called him nobody. The President called him a hero. Silence. Tomorrow is Veterans Day. Crestwood Middle School will hold its annual assembly, and Sergeant William Crawford has been invited to attend. The segment ends. The phones start ringing. Across Crestwood, people are watching. Parents, teachers, students. In Gerald Thornton's living room, the television is on. Gerald sits in his leather chair, his face gray. Megan sits on the couch. She's not laughing now. She's staring at the screen with something like fear. "A Medal of Honor recipient," she whispers. "I didn't know." Gerald says nothing. There's nothing to say. His money can buy silence. It can buy influence. It can buy contracts and board seats and favorable press coverage. But it can't buy back what his daughter said on that video. It can't unsay the words. It can't undo the cruelty. Tomorrow, every student at Crestwood Middle School will sit in that auditorium. Every student will see Sergeant William Crawford walk onto that stage. Every student will see the medal around his neck, including Megan Thornton. And she won't be able to look away. November 11th, 8 in the morning, Crestwood Middle School auditorium. 600 students file into rows of folding chairs. Teachers stand along the walls. Parents fill the back section. The room smells of floor wax and nervous energy. Harper sits in the 3rd row with her class. Her hands are folded in her lap. She's trying not to shake. 3 rows behind her, Megan Thornton sits with her friends. None of them are talking. None of them are looking at their phones. They all saw the broadcast last night. They all know what's coming. Principal Howard Green walks to the podium. His face is tight. "Good morning," he says. His voice echoes through the speakers. "Today, we honor those who have served our country. We have a special guest with us. Please welcome Sergeant William Crawford." Applause. Scattered. Uncertain. Will stands up from a seat in the back row. He walks down the center aisle toward the stage. He's wearing a dark suit. No jacket over it this time. Nothing to hide. The Medal of Honor hangs around his neck on its pale blue ribbon. The gold star catches the light. The applause fades. The room goes quiet. 600 students. Not one of them breathes. Will reaches the stage. He climbs the 3 steps. He turns to face the audience. He doesn't speak. He just stands there, looking out at the rows of faces. The teachers who knew and did nothing. The students who laughed and recorded. The parents who looked the other way. His eyes move slowly across the room. They pass over Harper. She's crying silently. Not from shame, from pride. They pass over Tyler, the boy who watched and said nothing. Tyler's head is bowed. They pass over Megan Thornton. Megan is staring straight ahead. Her face is white. Her hands grip the sides of her chair. Will's gaze rests on her for 1 second. 2. Megan looks down. She can't hold his eyes. Neither can the girls beside her. One by one, the students who laughed in that video drop their gazes. They look at their shoes, their hands, anything but the man on the stage. The silence stretches. 10 seconds. 15. Someone in the parent section starts crying, a soft sound, quickly muffled. Will still doesn't speak. He doesn't need to. The medal speaks for him. Everything he did in Afghanistan, every life he saved, every wound he took, every nightmare he still carries. It's all there, hanging around his neck, shining under the auditorium lights. Principal Green shifts uncomfortably at the side of the stage. He clears his throat. "Thank you, Sergeant Crawford, for your service," and Will turns and walks off the stage. He walks back up the center aisle. He doesn't look at anyone. He doesn't stop. He reaches Harper's row. He extends his hand. Harper takes it. She stands up. Together, they walk out of the auditorium. The doors close behind them. The silence holds for another 10 seconds. Then, slowly, someone starts clapping. Then another. Then 100. Megan Thornton doesn't clap. She just sits there, staring at the empty stage, finally understanding what it means to be small. 1 week later. Gerald Thornton resigns from the Crestwood School Board. His statement cites personal reasons. No one believes it. Megan Thornton transfers to a private school in Atlanta. She is not seen in Crestwood again. The school district revises its anti-bullying policy. The new version includes an independent review process for complaints. It passes unanimously. Linda Pearson receives a formal apology from the superintendent. She declines an offer to return to teaching. "Some doors," she says, "are better left closed." Harper goes back to school. For the first time in months, she doesn't eat alone. Tyler sits with her at lunch. He doesn't say much. He doesn't need to. Sometimes showing up is enough. Will still picks Harper up every afternoon. He still wears his jacket most days. Old habits. But sometimes, when the light is right, you can see the ribbon beneath his collar. Pale blue. Almost hidden. He doesn't talk about Afghanistan. Maybe he never will. But Harper understands now. Some weight you carry forever. The only question is whether you carry it alone. The medal weighs 3 ounces. The silence satisfies 13 years. But sometimes, silence is the loudest thing in the room. Courage doesn't need a microphone. It just needs one person willing to stand up. If this story touched you, if you were ever the Harper, or if you knew a Will Crawford, leave a comment below. And if you want to hear more stories like this one, subscribe. We'll be back. Some heroes wear medals. Others sit next to the kid no one else will.